Welcome to She's a Full-On Monet, a digital lifestyle magazine for women. Every week, our editor-in-chief, Kelly Castillo, along with Megan Block and special guests, participate in a deep dive discussion about recent articles and topics we have covered. We invite you to become part of our community where everyone's welcome.
Thank you for joining us at She's a Full-On Monet. This is Kelly, and as always, I have Megan with me.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Kelly.
This is actually episode 7, so I'm excited. It feels like it's going fast. We've made a lot of episodes already, and we're starting to I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, I no longer feel like I need to mentally prepare. It just feels natural at this point to come on and chat with you about the topics that we choose though to speak on. It's obviously easy to talk about too. So yeah, especially this week's one. I'm super excited.
Yeah. So the last few weeks, if you guys listen regularly, we've covered kind of heavier topics, kind of more mental health topics, taking care of yourself, that kind of a thing, which we do love to talk about. But we felt this week that we would choose something on a little bit of a lighter note. So today's topic are our picks for gifts for first-time parents. So if you have a baby shower coming up or a loved one who is expecting, these are our recommendations for the gifts that a first-time parent would need or would want to have. And we're pretty excited to talk about it. We've both been in that situation before.
Yes.
And we have now mine was a long time ago. I haven't been a first-time parent in 26 years, almost 27 years. So there's a lot of new products that I really wish I had. 27 years ago, there were not so many really cool things for babies. And now there really are. I was doing some research for this article, I was really excited to see all the cool stuff that was out there. It didn't quite make me want to have another one, but it did make me excited for future grandchildren. So yes.
Yeah, no, I get you on that. It's funny. It's every time we're oh, we have the coolest new thing, or this, and then you hear about something else that came out last year. You're well, that's pretty good for them. It makes me excited for the future because they don't have to deal with what I had to deal with. They solved that problem. Cool. Wish I had that.
Yeah, my daughter Samantha was FaceTiming me from Walmart the other day because she and her fiance had gone there to buy her a bike. And she was showing me the bike and asking my opinion in this and that. And then she showed me these, she had the Barbie, I think it was a Cadillac Escalade or whatever, the little motorized ride-on, I thought at the time, that was a big expense for us. That was an expensive toy.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, and it was my first daughter. I had 2 sons first and then a girl. And I was I'm going to get her this pink, Barbie. I called it a Barbie Jeep, but I think it was supposed to be a Cadillac. Anyway.
I have the same. It's parked right out here. I got some of the same one, hot pink Barbie Escalade. And it's still the coolest toy I ever bought.
No, you can honk the horn and play the radio. I mean, at the time, that technology and that toy, I thought it was unbelievable. And so she's showing me on camera, they have the Cinderella's carriage.
Oh, yeah.
In white and pink, and the full circular carriage with and it lights up. And then they had the tank from Toy Story that you can drive. And I was thinking, if that had been around when my sons were small, they would have taken that to elementary school every day and been with the helmet on and felt just little cool guys because cool. I mean, I wanted to ride it when I saw it. I was so excited about it.
The Cinderella carriage is you what we as kids literally had to close our eyes and dream of is now a reality for actual 3-year-olds out there, and it blows my mind.
I know. I had to use my imagination all the time when I was little because I didn't have any of that.
Over your bed and
build a fort. Yeah.
Now they really have it, and it goes and it's nighttime friendly because it glows or whatever. I
cannot.
I feel you.
By
the way, I still think it's cool technology because my daughters, when Emma got hers, it was 4. She was 4, so it was 5 years ago. It has a real radio in it.
You can play the radio. Yeah,
and she can play Tupac as she's riding off into the sunset in her pink Barbie Jeep, Regina George style. Get in, loser. We're going shopping. It's the coolest.
It's the coolest. And Sam and I were
bored.
Yeah, Sam and I were trying to figure out how to fit our bodies into that Cinderella carriage. And because it has a roof, so you can't if you're big.
There's
But
a max size limit. Yeah.
the tank, you like sit and there's no roof above you. You're sitting on top of the tank. So I could totally still rock that, I think. I think
You
I
know
can
that
take
part
it
in
around the
Alice in
neighborhood.
Wonderland where she gets too big in the house? She's like in the house and the feet. And
Yes.
that's us in the carriage. Like our feet are out, our arms are out, but like we're in it and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
No, I'm okay with that aesthetic because I want to ride on that carriage.
Yeah. Again, if you have the means to gift a loved one who's expecting a girl or boy, whatever, the Cinderella carriage, do it because like
Well, they have to store it for like 2.5 years.
2, 3, 4 years, and mom can play with it until it's ready, warm it up. No, I feel you. Some of the toys that you get that you see out there blow my mind with their technology. And it was like, doesn't make me want another kid so bad, but it makes me want to be a kid. So
yeah, it makes me want to be a kid. Exactly. Yeah. But I am so close to, I have 3 like step grandchildren, but I'm so close to grandmother age now that my oldest is going to be 27 this year and then 25, and Sam, is getting married. And so I feel like it's closer for me now towards grandkids than it is for like when my kids were babies. I'm on the other side of it
than that side. I feel you.
And I feel like as the cool grandma, I can buy these extravagant, ridiculous gifts for my grandkids because that's my job as the grandma.
Also, but truthfully, you're just trying to live subconsciously through them. You just want to see the joy that you are experiencing inside as they're riding off. Yeah, but for sure. Oh man, exactly. My dad got Emma that cat. Well, it might have been Santa, but my dad helped, and it was like to see his joy, watching her joy ride around his neighborhood in it, like over and over again, was worth every penny. So I can imagine support that idea.
I can imagine. Okay, so we are going to talk about first-time parent gifts. And, if you've been a first-time parent, like both of us have, you know that you really have no idea what you need and what you're actually going to use. A lot of things that you think, reading the books and magazine articles and reading the blogs and stuff, you think, oh my gosh, I totally have to have one of these. But in reality, most of the things you don't have to have. There are things that are nice to have, but you don't have, you can really get by with very few things. I know, I had, there's been times in my life where I had a lot, thankfully there've been more times than the other side, but there's also been times in my life where I didn't. And, when my sons were small was one of those times, like I was really financially struggling. And so, Colin, when he came along, he slept in the bedroom with us, and he slept in a laundry basket instead of a crib because it was safe and it was available and it didn't cost me any extra money. And I had, my older son, they're 18 months apart. So I knew he was going to be graduating to a toddler bed within a short period of time. And I didn't want to invest in another crib that I wouldn't use very long. So he slept in a laundry basket, like lined with, safe blankets and a little mattressy thing. And it was totally fine. Like I didn't need a super expensive crib and all the bedding and all the everything. My kids got by with a lot less than, people think that they need. And I don't think they were ever worse off for it. They, wore clothes from thrift stores sometimes. And with my oldest, we did cloth diapers, partly because of the environment, partly because it was so much cheaper. And there were a lot of things that, would have been way out of my scope to even ask for at a baby shower or to even buy for myself and for our family at the time. And I really felt like we had everything that we needed. We were pretty covered. So, everything that we're going to go over today, none of it is a necessity. None of it is. Really, your baby just needs its parents and it needs to eat and it needs some kind of a diaper situation. And other than that, as long as your home is safe, you're doing just fine. So everything that we talk about today, we're going to talk about gifts at a wide variety of price points, but please I wanted to make that clear from the beginning. If you are expecting a baby or you have a family member or loved one who's expecting a baby who is in a not great financial position right now, just please understand that there is absolutely nothing we're going to cover today that's vital to the health and happiness of a baby. Babies don't care. They don't know the difference. So
No, they really don't.
they don't. They just want cuddles and they just want milk and they're totally happy. So they don't care if they're sleeping in a laundry basket or like the most expensive crib ever built. They don't know the difference. So yeah, I just wanted to make that clear. But we are going to talk about some extravagant gifts today, and we're going to talk about some reasonable ones. And I know for myself, I'm a super practical person. So I tend to give practical gifts. I like to think, I like to imagine the person I'm giving the gift to using it a lot and getting really use out of it and thinking of me when they use it and just not something that's just going to sit on a shelf and look pretty or be an outfit, that they can never actually wear because it's not practical. Those things might be really beautiful and cute, but I prefer practical items. Even when people are giving me gifts, I prefer practical items. It's just my nature. But I know if you have a friend or family member, and this is the first baby that's coming along in your friend group or your family, it's so tempting to go out and buy, this little tiny designer shoes because they're so small and they're so cute, or the little like logo outfit for the baby. And that's, that there's nothing wrong with that, but they will very, very rarely, if ever, get used. So first-time parents are starting from scratch. Obviously, they need everything. And so we're going to cover a lot of really useful stuff today. Useful, but again, not vital to the health or happiness of a baby.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I do want to just add before we go down on the list is like, as a mom of two, and this has happened to me now twice, and there is no, like you said, nothing wrong with buying the cute outfit. But if a woman, because I believe, I could be wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think you helped me with my registry for.
I did. Yeah.
Yep.
We went to
And
Bye Bye Baby.
And you were very helpful. That's the thing, is like a woman who is bringing a child into the world has taken time to put things on her list. She's walked around a store and really thought carefully about what she needs, and probably been there with someone who has been in a mom place before and has helped guide them through so they don't just buy all the outfits and have nothing for them, for the baby.
Yeah.
So before we begin on the list, I do want to add, like, if there is a registry, like, how do I respect the registry? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it sucks because I've had two wonderful baby showers, and I was so blessed. Thank you, by the way. But what I was frustrated a little bit about was that I left both baby showers and both situations with a lot on my list that hadn't been checked off. And it just made me feel a little overwhelmed because I had this closet full of cute clothes, but now I had to literally go and get all these things
and buy everything.
And I kind of waited till the last minute because you don't want to buy two of the same thing.
Right. And I know when I look at people's, whether it's a wedding registry or baby registry online, to make my choices, I notice that there's a lot that isn't purchased, and what is purchased tends to be the cuter items that they added a few of.
To watch them open that. It's not fun to watch them open diaper cream. I get it. But like, then they're going to like need to go out and get that stuff. Or, if there's big ticket items on the thing, like a crib or like a car seat or a stroller, maybe talk to, and some of the people going to the baby shower, maybe go in on some of because those big ticket items that are still left, they'll be taken care of because they're, you need to take the baby home from the hospital in a car seat.
That's one thing we didn't cover. The car seat is a vital item. I said nothing we were going to cover today was vital, but they won't let you bring your baby home from the hospital if you don't have a car seat. No. And buying car seat secondhand is not considered safe because you usually don't know if that car seat's ever been in a car accident before.
No, I don't.
And if it's been in a car,
even sell them secondhand anymore.
They're not.
Like,
yeah.
You can't.
If a car seat has been in a car accident, then it should be discarded. So, yes, a car seat is one of those items. And if the family's, even anything about the family's financial situation, they may be planning for, maybe they're going from two household incomes to one, or maybe there's going to be an extended maternity leave that isn't paid. There are things going on that maybe you don't know about that financially, that it's a time in your life where you really start to worry about money in a bigger way than you ever have before, because suddenly you're responsible for this tiny human being for the next 18 plus years. And that can feel very daunting. So I know part of the nesting process for most young parents, not even young, doesn't matter, first-time parents, is financial. They want to start, saving for college, building a nest egg, making sure they have enough time to take time off of work. There are a lot of financial considerations with becoming a parent. So if there are items on their baby registry that are practical items that are needed items, please consider those first, as Megan said, because
we're going in on it a little bit, because there's it's easier for me to buy diaper cream than it is to figure out a car seat. So if 4 or 5 people went in and took care of it completely, oh man, like the feeling is overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's good. So either respect the registry or at least take care of, like you said, if you know it's going to be go a lot further than like a Calvin Klein 2-piece set, like maybe, you know what I mean? Like
tiny baby Nikes or something. Like,
yeah. And I get it. Some of those pieces are like overwhelmingly expensive on the list. Some of them were like, well, might as well just put it on. Maybe like you don't feel like you have to get the big ticket items, but that's why I said like go in with a few people on it, because like of course you can't take care of that yourself, maybe. But like try and respect the list, whatever the list looks like, because they did take time to, like put those things on with purpose. They didn't just throw it on there. So definitely, even if it's not as fun to watch them open, like I promise you, it's they know they needed it, they know they wanted it, and it's going to be like a relief from them, because they don't want to deal with going out and getting 60 things on their list.
And I mean, this is a side note, and I'm sure that technology has changed a lot in that time period, but 27 years ago, when I was pregnant with my very first child, I did ultrasounds. I did ultrasounds actually weekly, because I was running out of amniotic fluid. I was running out of space. He was a super large baby. And every ultrasound, or at least several ultrasounds, they told me that I was having a girl. So I had, so I had a girl, we had a girl name picked out, girl, everything, pink nursery, pink stroller, all pink clothing. I'm very much a girly girl. So I was thrilled to be having a girl, and I bought frilly pink everything. And then I went into labor, and I went to the hospital, and I delivered a boy. So I am sure that ultrasound technology has improved in the last 27 years, but I was told by multiple ultrasound techs that I was having a girl, and then I had a boy. And while I was in the hospital recovering, my dad was kind enough to take everything back that could be returned and exchanged. Otherwise I would have had, a tiny baby wearing pink clothes as a boy, which is totally fine, but not what I had imagined.
And also people tend to like associate pink with girl. So if they congratulate you on your new baby girl, it's like, I know it's not a girl. Thanks for reminding me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you didn't
exactly.
need that.
And not to mention, he was a super large baby. So everything that had been purchased for me that was newborn size was immediately not going to fit. He went straight to the 3 to 6 months. So
was Emma. Emma was like, well, she wasn't 3 to 6. She was like 0 to 3, but then 3 to 6 months really quick. She didn't even hit like I had so many newborn diapers that I never used. So like that's another quick side note, is like try and stay away from anything that's newborn size, because heaven forbid they could be large or they could be premature. You don't know what size they're going to come out. So
and
don't try and guess.
That short period of time where babies wear newborn size is the time when you're least likely to leave your home. You're probably going to just hunker down and get on some kind of schedule and figure out what you're doing. And you're not going to be out and about in the world. So you don't need super cute outfits for a newborn baby. Like the baby sacks where you don't even have to figure out snaps and buttons in the middle of the night. They're like great. Drawstring bottom.
Pull right up. Yeah.
Those are probably best for the newborn size. And then from there, you can pick out cuter things when they're 0 to 3 or 3 to 6.
Yeah.
But newborn clothes, they serve zero purpose, and sometimes they don't fit from the very beginning, and sometimes they don't only fit for like a week or two. Babies grow extraordinarily fast most of the time.
Plus, let's be real, as a mom of a newborn, you're not going to put them in a photo shoot situation. I mean, maybe you will, but it's so exhausting. Like, just forget it.
And most people's newborn photo shoots, like they like that little naked baby. That's the cute, like the Ann Gettys.
With the wrinkles and all that.
Yeah. Okay, so the first item I wanted to cover is our priciest item on the list. And I just thought it was super cool technology. It's called the Snoo Baby Bassinet. And it's just the right kind of size and height to sit directly next to your own master bed. Or you could have it, in another room. But it is that they did make it like kind of bed height. So it could be a companion if you're not comfortable co-sleeping. And that is a lot of people, even if they had intended to co-sleep like right from the beginning, it is a little nerve-wracking to have such a teensy tiny human in your bed. And you worry about, I don't know, squishing them or something. I did. Maybe that's just my anxiety, but I did.
I was that way too. Everybody worries about squishing them.
Yeah. So this baby bassinet, what's interesting about this is that it will automatically sense the movement of the baby and begin to rock them when they get restless. So it's kind of like smart technology for babies. And it also has a built-in white noise machine and a built-in swaddle. So it is kind of an all-in-one genius bassinet. And you can control it by an app on your phone, which I cannot even, I can't with the technology of this baby stuff. Now, if you are a first-time parent or it's been a long time and you don't remember this, most bassinets are only safe for babies until they begin to sit up on their own. So you can only really use those until the baby starts to sit up on their own. So it's only for a few months. I mean, really, they're not a long-term solution for baby sleeping. But the Snoo Baby Bassinet is amazing technology. If you are into gadgets or your partner is into tech kind of gadgets, it's a kind of a cool thing to have. It is pricey. It's priced at about $1,500. But here's the thing. They also make it available as a rental option, which when I saw that, you can rent them for as little as I think $30 to $50 a month. Considering that you can only use it until the baby starts sitting up, I think the rental options actually are really good option to have, and a really smart of this company to do that. So covering the rental time for say 3 months or 5 months or whatever you think for a baby is still in a relatively reasonable price range. It's still a very, very, generous gift, but I think that's pretty cool. And I love that the company offers that because it makes it accessible to much more people than if you had to buy it outright for $1,500. That's crazy to me.
That's, the price tag on like a good night's sleep. Holy moly.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't even care.
A lot of the items that we're going to cover today are sleep related because as first time parents in general know, you stop sleeping like usually about 7 months into your pregnancy, and you don't sleep again until that child is like, I don't know, an adult with their own children. When do you sleep? Because I still sometimes don't. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, I remember that newborn stage, and it's an actual nightmare. I first of all, I don't get the people that are like, oh, I love the baby stage. I think they're cute. I get it. But like, man, there was just times where I was like pouring water in my cereal for breakfast and like not even noticing until like 5 minutes in after eating it for a while. Like, here's the thing, from someone who did breastfeed, lack of sleep throws off your milk supply. So like sleep replenishes your body, gives you that ability to handle such a shock to your system. Like, people can tell you till they're blue in the face, oh, you will never have a moment to rest again. Oh, you'll never be bored again. Oh, you'll never sleep well again. But you don't know until you actually have that baby. And it's like, oh, you were right.
It's a whole other ball game than anything that you've ever experienced in your life, because we've all had nights where we didn't sleep well, or nights we were out super late and had to get up for work the next morning, anything like that. I mean, even hungover mornings.
Yeah, it's hard.
The long-term sleep deprivation that comes from having a newborn there's nothing like it that I've ever experienced.
That's human. And that's the thing, is there's multiple reasons that your sleep could get thrown off. Like, the baby wakes up every few hours probably to be fed, but sometimes they wake up in between those few hours because they come out of their swaddle or they need to be rocked to sleep. So this beautiful piece of technology, so beautiful, fixes multiple reasons that babies wake up in between feedings. So the chances of you sleeping longer or greater. And I just think it's genius. And I absolutely love, like you said, the rental option, because chances of you using it for longer than this realistic time frame that you set is very low. And then you feel like you have to resell it, but you paid so much money, you have to like really price it up to resell, because who are you gonna, when are you
Yeah.
gonna use it again, you know?
Yeah. No, you're not.
You're not. So
And I don't know about you, but every time I had a baby, I thought that was my last baby, and I would give everything away
no,
afterwards.
no,
And
no, no,
then,
no. I was genius. I kept everything because I'm like,
oh
if I have
no,
a new girl, if I have a girl, like Kenzie, my youngest, is currently wearing 95% Emma's old clothes because I kept everything. But
I
now I'm
wish.
just, even if I have another one, crazy idea, and it is a girl, like I'll just start from scratch because I don't even care anymore. Just you literally got rid of everything after each
Well,
child.
the boys were 18 months apart, so they were perfect timing. As soon as Austin grew out of something, Colin could wear it almost immediately.
Okay.
So I still had a lot of items because it really wasn't, I knew I was expecting again less than a year into the
Yeah.
first baby. So I didn't have time to throw anything away. But after Colin, I was like, I am so done. Like I have 2 rambunctious boys, like no way. So I gave everything away. And then, less than 2 years later had Samantha.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, now I'm really done. I got my girl. I'm done, done, done. And then, several years later, surprise Gabby. So, yeah,
Yeah.
the good thing is that the girls never had hand-me-downs because they just weren't familiar at all with what that even is. And, my sister had a girl when I had my oldest. So I had asked her at the time, oh, I bet you have a lot of stuff that you saved, because my sister is very organized, saves everything. And she said, oh yeah, I do. Like I'll put it all together for you now that I know you're having a girl. And then she found out she was pregnant because our
Oh,
daughters are 7 months apart.
yeah.
So yeah, I didn't even get to use any of her
man.
stuff. So
I was very
yeah.
lucky. I was given lots of clothes and like a few other items just because people knew I was having a baby. And so I think that's a big reason why I kept a lot of stuff, because I'm like, heaven forbid if I don't have another girl, I want to, I mean, I got like bags of really nice clothes and it was so fun to go through because I didn't have to purchase
Yeah.
them
It's like
myself.
Christmas.
And I didn't
Like
feel like I had to
Christmas.
keep them pristine because they weren't new.
Yeah.
So I've given a lot of my nice things to like kids or friends of mine that have girls, and like it's great if you also, side note, this is not a registry thing, but if you have things that you're storing and someone, like hand-me-downs are so great for especially first-time parents or anytime parents. It really saves, other than a car seat, it saves
Yeah.
a big
Well,
hassle.
and you use things with babies for such short period of time that they're all usually in really good condition. I got married and had kids very young, like right out of high school. So I was the first in my friend group to have a baby by many, many years. And there wasn't anybody to do the hand-me-down thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I wish it would have been nice.
It was really nice from my perspective. It really did help. And a lot of those items I still like, they still have tags on them. I'm still giving them away,
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's a
So
really good item. I mean, worth
yeah, so
every rental penny.
if this new baby bassinet is not in your price range, if even the rental of it is not in your price range, then there is an option from Amazon. It is not the same thing, but it is a crib mattress movement monitor. So it alerts you when the baby is moving around on their mattress. And it usually gives you a little bit of a heads up that the baby's about to wake up. This is good peace of mind if you're sleeping away from baby in another room or in a place where you won't necessarily hear them moving around. I know when I did have Colin, Austin slept great, slept through the night from the beginning. That kid slept like 20 hours a day. But Colin, no, he had colic. He was sick all the time. And he had a really hard time falling back asleep once he woke all the way up.
Oh.
So he also didn't co-sleep with me. So I wouldn't hear him start to wake up. I usually wouldn't hear him until he cried. And by that time he was up, and he'd be up for a significant period of time. He wasn't a go right back to sleep baby. So something like this, where I could have kind of caught it when he was just starting to wake up, I probably could have soothed him back to sleep easier, just patting him on the back or quickly but once he would start to cry, he was awake then, and half the time would wake up Austin as well, because they slept in the same room.
I can see the benefit to that for sure.
Yeah.
Catching it before it became like a fully awake system situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, those are the two kind of go back to sleep baby items that I had on the list. But I also, with Samantha, I think the first time I got one was with Samantha, but with Samantha it was like a stuffed octopus, and it played classical music, it played white noise, and it also played a heartbeat noise. And that thing went everywhere with us, and saved the day so many times I can't even tell you.
I had
you had a sheep, yeah.
I had a sheep, and it had the same thing, heartbeat, like all the white noise sounds. Music came with us everywhere, and then they made like a portable version where it was like a smaller, where you can attach it to like the stroller, you can attach it to a car seat. Man, that thing was like an added parent.
Yeah, amazing. So I found something similar. It's called the Baby Shusher Sleep Miracle. And it's a white noise machine that also has a soothing human voice, which I can't figure out if I think that's creepy or good.
Like the Calm app, where it's like,
I think so. I think it like kind of shushes the baby softly. It is portable. And the really cool thing is that it's only $35. So I thought that was pretty amazing. There's also very popular, the Baby Dream Machine. It's not as portable. It's meant to stay in the nursery, and they call it a pink noise, which I don't know what the difference is between white noise and pink noise. But it also has a built-in humidifier with aromatherapy. Hey. So that's kind of a 2-in-1 product. That one's a little more expensive. It's $99, but both of those are kind of the white noise suggestions for babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some babies,
it looked like a stuffed animal, and
I remember that.
And it's just like, you could play it for 60 minutes or 30. And I kind of became not addicted to it, but it was a real big help. Like, it was the process of her going to sleep, and she knew, and the white noise, any machine with a white noise attached to it, first time parents out there, like that is a godsend. You need that, because man, like, especially if you live in a shared room, a shared wall situation, any noise can just throw a baby off and wake them up.
Yeah.
You need to drown out that any added noise. So any type of sound machine, if you see it on the registry, just like be on an alert that's a big thing. Humidifier also, if it's like a combo, that's great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that that's a combo, because most nurseries need both anyway.
Yeah.
So I think this might have been one of the things that you wanted to talk about, but the sling carrier, I know a really popular one is the Baby Catan sling carrier. Those run about $50. And that's one of those items that, I don't know, first-time parents might not think about it, but they probably wouldn't think how often they will use this. The carrier is something that you use daily, basically all day, every day.
Well, because my kids, I don't know if they needed it, or I just assumed, because I was a first time parent and I didn't know any better, but I just assumed that they needed to be like with movement. I noticed that I could not. I'm very type A, and even when I'm recovering from just birthing a child, I'm looking around in my house and wanting to get things done a little bit and nest a little bit. So to be able to attach your person onto you and be able to have both free hands to do stuff.
Yeah.
And also being so close to the heartbeat, believe it or not, with Kenzie, it was almost like that was the easiest way to get her to sleep. I could get her because she was so close to my actual heartbeat, and her
That's
head
what they hear. It's what they hear in utero. Yeah.
She would just sleep on me. I remember I would be there at your house, and she would just be on me. And they're great. And there's different versions. Some versions are, in my opinion, really complicated. Like, you open it up and it's this long sling. And then there's ones that are pretty much just ready to go. You just have to, I just think they're great, whatever one you choose, and they're very useful, and you do very much underestimate how much you think you'll actually use it.
Yeah, I do agree. The easier to attach it to yourself, the better, because you will be doing it when you're sleep deprived. You will be doing it in the backseat of a car before you get out. There's a lot of times when you don't necessarily want complicated straps and hooks and things like that. I mean,
also a great way to nurse too. I know they have nursing covers for that, but like, it's just a really great way to have your baby on you. And if you do I got really confused by how to put them on. I just YouTubed it. I just went on YouTube and like typed in the maker and then how to, and people will slow it down and show you. There's also some different ways, like if you want to have the baby on different versions, whether it's front or side, there's different ways that you have to wrap it so that it actually stays on, and you feel, because that's the thing, is people look at it and you're like, I don't know if I feel safe. It looks like a bandage holding her up, but you really feel sturdy with this thing on. Yeah.
Because you always worry that the baby's going to fall off of you. I mean, I think that's a normal concern.
And your
But
baby doesn't face forward when they're first born. They like because their neck is so like new.
they need to be
Put, like the baby Bjorn in front and like go about your day. Like you have to
No.
have them on you in a certain way, especially when they're like just born.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, strapping your baby to your body has been part of human existence since the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the first things I think human beings learned how to do was to strap the baby to themselves so they could get about their day and like feed themselves.
We don't have time for this.
I don't know.
Holding for 8-9 hours.
No, I mean, yeah, this happens in almost I think probably every culture of the world. So this is not a new thing, but they've definitely gotten some really great technology, breathable fabrics, everything organic,
and too.
All types of price points.
Really nice, name brand ones, and you can get ones at Target that are not bad price point and really cute prints or basic prints that go with everything. Like it's very important to get that.
Yeah.
And this is have it, you'll use it, and you won't stop using it.
This is kind of funny, but when we got our puppy, who is not a puppy anymore, but when we got her, Mushi, she was from I know. She was only 3 pounds and she was super teeny tiny. And we lived at the time in a 3-story house that was basically marble. So the stairs were marble and steep, and there were stairs from every room. I mean, it was impossible. And so she was too tiny to go up and down the stairs herself or to jump up and off furniture. So I had one of those, the easiest kind of sling where it's like a baby, it's like a hammock, like a baby hammock. Yeah. And happy. I put her in it and went about my day around the house getting things done, because otherwise she would have tried to follow me and would have gotten hurt. Yeah. Or, we were potty training her. So she would have had accidents everywhere.
That's the other thing. Those things convert with your baby. Like you can have them facing out, and when they're just crawling everywhere and you don't have time for that because you got to go clean the other room, you can strap them onto you and they can't go anywhere. Like it goes from newborn to older newborn. There's all different ways to strap them onto you that it actually carries longer with, she was big when she was still on me. That's the thing.
I remember.
I lived with mine when I would do Disney every week with Kenzie and Emma. And I just got so tired of like holding her that I would strap her onto me. And I use that thing for way too long. I mean, you can really get a lot of miles with these things.
Yeah, I agree. And hey, you can use them for a puppy if it comes to that. Dogs. So now we know. But I mean, she's an older dog now, and she believes with her whole heart that she is a human baby because I did that to her.
I've met the dog and I fully attest to this. I miss Moosh. Yeah, no, that's a great add-in for any, whether you're a first-time parent or a second-time. Maybe you're a second-time parent and you're like, man, I wish there was a way I could get more stuff done. These babies take up my whole day. Actually, you can strap them on like Transformers style and go every day. I would dust like.
Oh, I know you would. You'd be running around the house doing all kinds of stuff.
There was no problem. I would just like, if I eat, I'd put like a little hat on so it wouldn't get on her hair, and I just go about my day. Like,
I love it.
Sometimes you have multiple kids. Sometimes you have twins. What are you going to do then? Put one on you, handle the other one. So look into invest in one of those for sure.
So I wanted to talk about 2 baby shower gifts that I have done repeatedly for a lot of people in my life that I love both options, and it's kind of always my go-to. The first one is, you can buy anything from this brand. It's the Honest company. Everyone is familiar with it, but they have these baby shower gifts that are kind of pre-done for you. They do diaper cakes where it looks really cool. Plus it pretty much covers their diaper needs for a decent amount of time. Or they have a diaper bag starter kit that has like a diaper bag backpack and then everything you could need to go in it, which is great because I know for first-time parents, it's kind of a trial by error thing with the diaper bags. You learn as you go. So if you have a starter kit where someone else has thought of that stuff for you, that's really helpful. And then they have something called the Ultimate Newborn Starter Kit, which is $329. So it's, a luxurious gift, but it covers basically everything someone would need as far as like toiletries and things like that for babies. So like nail trimmers and lotions and diapers and wipes and just kind of everything you can think of. And that if you want something that's just kind of, done for you, that would be great. And if you want to do something even more over the top, they do have diaper and wipe subscriptions. So that's a great option because, again, with the sizing, your child might not be born and wear newborn size diapers. They might be preemie, they might be bigger. So the diaper and wipe subscription you could cover for months or 6 months, a year, whatever price point you feel comfortable spending. And that is something I can't even tell you. As a parent, I would have appreciated so much because it's one of those expenses that, you have to spend money on diapers and wipes. There's nothing else you can do. And if you're on a fixed income, if you're getting government assistance, something like that, they don't cover that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's just, you've got to swing it.
In which a newborn goes through diapers is literally insane. I tried the cloth diaper route the second round and I couldn't keep up with the process of washing and having a clean supply that I went back to the, disposable ones. But like, it's insane. Like it's insane how much
it is. It's such an unreasonable expense for an annual diaper budget. I can't even tell you.
Man. And the toiletry thing's cool because then you can go back on their registry and like click off a lot of things that they may be registered, maybe not the honest
individually for. Yeah, maybe they didn't know that was a thing.
Then they just know and then they get it. And then because that's the thing is you do fill up your toiletry. These are all things that are needs. You go through and go, okay, well, I need nail clippers because those grow really, really like you do need all these things. None of these things are for like, I know.
Or things that you can really use your adult things for the baby. You can't, adult nail clippers not going to work.
Shower gel for the baby or regular lotion for the, like they need certain things that you just can't substitute with your own stuff. So if you can just knock that all out or go in with a few people, dice that price up and then knock it out. You're going to knock out a lot of the things that are on their registry and then it's going to feel a lot better. And then going back and buying like the stroller or because you kind of know when you have a baby, you're going to have to invest in some sort of sleeping situation and transporting situation. Like that's expected. No one expects anyone to buy those things on their registry, but it does make it a lot less stressful when all the other things have been crossed off that are needed, but like not as fun, like nail clippers, all this.
Yeah. And that's actually exactly the second idea. And I've done this. I don't know if I did this for you, but I've done this for a ton of baby showers in my lifetime because someone did it for me for one of my baby showers. And it was honestly the most thoughtful gift I received at that whole baby shower because it was a ton of little items that would have added up for me and been really expensive. So what I do is I buy a baby bathtub. It doesn't need to be super fancy one, just a baby bathtub. And then I fill it with all the toiletries, little washcloths. And you can do this really inexpensively, or you can do this really luxuriously. So, you don't have to go to a baby store to do this. You could go somewhere like Big Lots or Target, Walmart, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you don't need to go to a boutique style place that has monogrammed towels. You can just get what you need.
Right. So I would take a baby bathtub, fill it up with everything that you need toiletry wise for baby. Again, the nail clippers, the washcloths, the baby bath soap, the little hooded towel, like all of that stuff. And then you can wrap it in the like gift basket wrapping cellophane and make it look really beautiful. But when someone did that for me and I looked at that and realized, oh my gosh, all this stuff I don't have to go get. I was like almost in tears because it was so thoughtful.
And it was all wrapped pretty. So it didn't make it look like it was like, oh, necessities. And that's brilliant.
And you want to make sure a very big must if you're doing something like toiletry kit is to include, when my kids were little, it was that little blue suction ball nose thing, which was disgusting, or the Frida, which I think is what you're going to talk about.
Don't even know this nose. So the nose Frida you can get at Target. You can get most places now. It was a little harder to find when I first was given it with my first child. It is brilliant. And people see it and they go, that's so gross.
Disgusting.
You literally have to put it, like you have to put one in your mouth and the other end in the kid's nose. But there's a blocker, by the way, people, that there's no way it's going to get in your mouth. So you're not sucking up the boogers. But the little bulb thing, first of all, you're squeezing it back in their little their little face, and it's not accurate. You're getting a little bit. And when you have kids that have sinus issues, or there's just gunk in there, and they're laying down and they're not sleeping, like I still use this on my 9-year-old. I use it on myself sometimes because it gets so much out that don't waste your time with the bulb. Like, do not waste. You'll get it in kits. I don't know if you have another use for it, but I've never
No. That, when I saw that invention, I think I saw it at your baby registry time when we did that, was my mind just literally, was like the emoji where your brain explodes, because the blue bulb thingy, it did what it was supposed to do to some extent, but it's impossible to flush it out all the way. So if your child has an actual cold, you are sucking up the bacteria and gross boogers, and it's almost impossible to get it all the way emptied. So, I mean, if you can imagine cutting one of those balls open, the nastiness that would be happening inside. Don't do it. No, don't buy that thing. Just get the Frida.
We've come a long way with technology with this, and as gross as your brain wants you to think it is, please push through it, because your kid's going to be crying and you're going to be like, why are they still crying? Well, because you just pushed air into their little nose. And those little things are so tiny, those little nostril holes, that it's like the accuracy of getting everything out is just so hard. So that's one of my big things, and it's not expensive at all. You can to buy this, first of all, if they've never heard about it, they're gonna
blow their mind.
Crazy. But they're going to hug you over and over again.
They're going to use it so much.
A lifesaver.
So if you do that baby bath idea, make sure you include the Frida, because it will change their little baby lives. And I mean, obviously babies cannot blow their noses. First time parents, I remember when I first heard that, I was like, okay, it makes sense, but I had never thought of it before.
Toddlers can't blow. I'm still trying to teach my 4-year-old how to properly push it out and bless her nose, and she gets frustrated, and they look at you like I'm doing it. It's like, no, you're not.
We all just blow our noses without a second thought, but I mean, somebody taught you to do that.
Yeah. And you can't comprehend such a complex idea until I think a certain age. I think eventually it just clicks. And so it's frustrating. And so I still use it on my toddler. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, she fights the process. She hates it. But the minute that she can breathe through her nose, it's like, oh, like it's so great. And you don't want sinus infections when they're little are a nightmare, because they go into their tiny little ears. They go, and then they cause ear infections. And there is no way to calm a newborn down that is going through that. They're just miserable. And the only way for them to express it is through crying. And it's just driving you insane. So I would just get one of those for the sheer fact that it's going to prevent something going from maybe a little cold to a full-blown sinus infection in the ears. Those little tubes are so tiny and sensitive already that you just want to make sure it's clear. So it's such a great investment for such a small price point in regards to something you use over and over and over again.
We went through multiple respiratory infections, ear infections, and tube surgery at 10 months old. So believe me, I know. And if I had had that Frida, I would have been using it on a daily basis, because our daughter had to be actually propped up when she slept because of all the congestion. And it was bad. So I wish I had that back then, but I don't think
it prop them up. But then would she roll? Because like my kids would just it would just naturally, like a hill, they would just roll. Eventually they would still be level. There's no way to,
they want to be level. They keep squishing down, rolling over. They try. But it was
So this is a really big helper for it to not turn into something like tubes or like a multiple ear infections, because those
can damage your hearing long term. I don't know if people realize that if your child has multiple ear infections, they can lose a percentage of their hearing and it will never come back.
Wow. So that makes sense. So because
it builds up scar tissue. So
big danger. This little
next, I wanted to talk about baby food makers. There's a lot of them on the market. And I want to preface this by saying you don't need a fancy baby food maker. You can simply steam fruits and vegetables and blend them. You don't need an extra appliance for that. However, if you have a single household blender and you use it a lot in your family for other things that are spiced, things that are contain ingredients that babies shouldn't have yet, or that your baby hasn't yet been exposed to for allergy purposes, then a baby food maker might not be a bad idea. I made homemade baby food for all of my babies, partly because it was financially better, easier for me, and partly because I wanted them to have the healthiest option. And if something checked both boxes, I was on board. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different price points. There is one called the Baby Brezza, which is considered to be like the highest end baby food maker. It's $180. It looks nice on the counter. It's pretty fancy looking, but it doesn't have, as far as I could tell, any features that are super unique. Then there's one called the Biaba Baby Cook, which is $150. Same thing. They all do basically the same thing. They steam or boil the stuff and then they blend it. It's not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
If you want something that's more portable or quick, they have the NutriBullet makes a baby food maker. That's only $70. It looks just like their smoothie maker, but it has a little happy face on it because it's for babies.
That's the one I used.
Yeah.
I used it for my second kid, and I can tell you that thing is incredible because it comes with, and maybe the other ones do, but for me, I just thought this was so cute. It comes with these little like cups that like you can store your food in, and like they all look like the same. They all have the same branding. And so I personally used that price pointed one, and it never broke on me. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It went from steam to blend, and then I would just fill up the cups. And I did it for the same reason you did. I was thinking about how expensive and how much money I could save, and then I also was thinking of like, okay, there was this calm feeling of I know exactly what is going into my baby, and I know that I'm trying just this one food. Like sometimes you don't need the combination of the two, so you just want to try sweet potatoes. Okay, well, you can buy this for $1.39, or you can make a sweet potato last like eight
Yeah,
serves.
Exactly. Or you can take whatever vegetable you're making for your own family's dinner that night and set it aside before you season it and make some for your baby.
Totally.
And like she's saying, babies should be introduced to one food at a time until you know if they have reactions to anything. And then once they've had that food several times with no reaction, you can mix it with other items. But that is important.
Super convenient, like having to go to the store and buying all these like glass jars or jars of all these different types, and it's just like and also felt kind of cool to like be able to take a potato and blend it and then like give the little spoon. So I'm really happy to hear that they all do the same thing, because honestly, I tried the lowest end one and I felt like I had the best one out there. It was a great. I use the NutriBullet smoothie maker almost every morning, and it's exactly the same item. It just doesn't have the happy face on it. I remember it's green. It's called the Baby Bullet or whatever.
Yeah.
It's cute.
And I love my smoothie maker. It's the same technology. It does the same thing. It's just not for baby food. But there's also one that looks kind of like one of those hand blenders. I don't know if you've seen those hand blenders that you just, it's called the Sage Spoonfuls baby food maker. And it's the cheapest of the ones we're covering today. It's only $45. But you do need to have like a vessel that you're already using, like a bowl or something. And then you put your already prepared vegetable in there, and this just kind of blends it. So that is the only function that it does. But it also, if you're looking to make your own baby food and you want a specific device just for the baby, that is the cheapest one that I found in my research. Now, the one I think is the best if you want to spend more is called the Baby Move Food Station. It's larger, it takes up more counter space, but it has 3 different compartments. So you can make 3 different flavors or vegetables, fruit, whatever you're doing of baby food at the same time. So you can kind of meal prep for baby for the week.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it steams it and then he blends it all in the same thing. And it also is a bottle warmer and sanitizer. So it serves a lot of functions. You can cook multiple meals for the baby at once. You can sanitize bottles, warm bottles, all in one thing. So it's really like a baby station on your kitchen counter. That one's $160, but I did think that was very cool. Now, when I was making baby food for my own kids, again, I was doing it a lot of reasons were financial. So I would just boil or steam the vegetables in my normal cooking pans on the stove. And then I would put them in the blender, which I had made sure I washed really, really well before I used it for baby food. because I would use it for sauces and things that had spices in it. So I washed it really, really well. And then I would blend my baby food. And I think it was kind of like the 90s version, early 90s version of a Vitamix. It was just a really high power blender. And then I would pour the prepared baby food into ice cube trays and freeze them. And then I would just like pop out the ice cube. So I would have like one little serving of baby food would be one ice cube tray, ice cube mold or whatever, if that makes sense. And then I would just put them in like Ziploc bags or Tupperware and put them in the freezer and take one out as I needed it. So that's what I did. And it cost me like no dollars in special machinery.
And the kids are still alive to tell
and the kids are alive and
my
healthy
goodness.
today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't
Not
feel like
necessity, of
no,
course.
not a necessity, but it is very cool. Again, if you like the cool gadget stuff, that Baby Move food station, I think is the
Or
best.
if you're just tired and sleep deprived, like it saves some steps. Like I really like to be able to steam and then literally pour it from this into the same thing and then hit another button and blend. Like I didn't, it just when you're trying to just find extra minutes to catch up on laundry or catch up on sleep or catch up on work or whatever it is, like if it can just take a step out, sometimes it's worth it to you. But
yeah, and that's why I thought that
you have to have it, you know?
Yeah, that's why I thought that Baby Move food station was cool because you can cook like 3 meals at a time, which means you could meal prep for your baby maybe one day a week and have all their meals done.
Totally.
And then not have to think about it every day right before, oh my gosh, I got to make some baby food. So that was very
also doubles as a, sometimes having all these gadgets for baby on the counter can be overwhelming. Like taking a warmer and a maker and putting it in one saves some counter space too,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And I also wanted to talk about swaddling. I know that's like a big deal. The baby burrito style swaddling.
Hate swaddling.
They will teach you how to do that in the hospital, but and you'll figure it out. It doesn't matter. Because try doing it at 3 a.m. when it's your third or fourth time up that night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. But they do make these swaddle wraps from Sleep Sack. And they are, it's like the Sleep Sack pajama thing that we were talking about earlier, but it just kind of folds over and I think it Velcros closed. So you really need very little brain power to make that happen. It might be a good option if you're very sleep deprived. I still might not have been able to do it.
I have the best option. I'm just waiting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. There's one more. It's called the Bundle B wrap. And this is basically the same type of thing, a swaddle wrap, but it has little carrying handles on the side. And so the purpose of this one is to be able to move baby from the crib to the car seat or from the car seat to the crib without waking them. And it also gives a little extra protection if you're nervous about your relatives holding the baby, because it does have like little straps that you can kind of have extra leverage on baby. So if you have like older relatives or older siblings for baby that really want to hold the baby, that gives you a little bit more peace of mind. So those were my suggestions. Neither one of them is very expensive. I think they run about $20.
Yeah. No, oh man, like so many thoughts run in my head when I think of swaddling, because that was my main reason for both of my kids, especially with Emma, for waking up because their little systems, they have that fight or flight thing where they kind of like will just randomly wake themselves up. And no matter how like ninja I was or how strong I was, no matter what I did, these kids would ninja themselves out of the swaddle. And even the ones that, bless them, those sleep sacks with the Velcro, they're amazing. But if their little hands get out, they can actually like wake themselves awake. And I was just about to give up on parenting altogether and just like ask the hospital if they wanted them back, until I think I found this on like Facebook, or someone told me about it. I don't even know if this is the same brand anymore, but it's called the Zippity Zip. I've
never heard of that.
It might be a different brand, and maybe we can put it in the notes below.
Yeah, we'll put all of these items in the show notes.
I'll update because I'm going to research, because I feel like they might have rebranded it, but it is by far the coolest thing ever. It looks basically like a flying squirrel suit.
Okay.
And stay with me on this, because like I talked about with the whole like fight or flight thing.
Yeah.
The thing is that you put them in like you would a swaddle, and it's zipped in front. and then their little hands go in it, and they literally look like they're a flying squirrel, but the covering, like it's designed in a way where it can't give them that fight or flight, and it gives them the ability to like move freely and stuff like that if they roll over on their side or something like that. But they never ever 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 woke up from just being I never had to re-swaddle at 2 a.m. tired because
Okay.
this invention happened. And I could take them from the sleep sack and put them in the car seat and strap and still have them in their thing. And it wasn't unsafe. It wasn't anything I had to worry about. But the bottom is like totally, their little feet go on these corners and their little hands. So if heaven forbid they were to like, move themselves in a way, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's the same sensation when adults, like, I mean, I do it sometimes when I'm falling asleep and I feel like I'm falling and you jerk.
Yeah.
That it's a myoclonic jerk, but
babies do it a lot. And this
babies
keeps
do it a
that
lot
from happening. And this also, it just, even if the fight or flight thing wasn't there, this saves you from ever having to re-swaddle 18 times because they ninja'd themselves out of it, because they will, because they're amazing.
And if you're an on-the-go family, having those baby sacks that have the little slit in them, you're supposed to feed the car seat buckle through.
Yeah.
Give me a break. That you're never going to do that and keep that baby asleep.
You can machine wash this. I bought like 3 or 4 of these and I used them for Kenzie, and I recommended them to every mom around me that I had along with the nose Frida, because it just like, I got so frustrated because I bought like the really nice breathable swaddle ones and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And then she would find her way out of it, and just the sheer hands getting free would wake them up. And then I would get the ones with the Velcro, and those were the best if you can't get access to this for whatever reason. They sell those things everywhere, like at Target, Walmart, everywhere. The Velcro, the sleep sacks, those are great too. Those are really great because you just slide the baby in and you cross their arms and then you just like Velcro it over. You don't have to worry about wrapping it and like keeping them pinned down. But this, out of everything that I've ever found for a baby, as far as you need to buy this, is it, because it just, I feel like the swaddling thing, you can learn, you can be a master, but once the baby is out of it, then you have to redo it again, and it's
over and over and over again.
2 a.m. when you're sleep deprived already and you're just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, it's so frustrating. So I feel like they rebranded themselves. So I will find it out and get the links so that we can put it in the show notes, because it's brilliant. It's absolutely
I agree.
And they weren't expensive. They were like $30-$40.
Yeah, they're not. None of the swaddling products are very expensive, but they make a huge difference. Mm-hmm. So, and that one, it sounds especially cool, because that's one issue I always had with I'd get the baby perfectly swaddled and then I'd have to put them in their car seat, and you basically have to undo everything.
Yeah, or you just could never, I could never really master the perfect swat. I mean, I just felt like I could never get her tight enough. I felt like I was failing at it. And it's really discouraging when all you want to do is get them to be comfortable and sleeping, or you feel like you're just not. So this just takes the headache out of it. You
already have enough mom guilt at the newborn stage that you're not doing everything perfectly. So why make it harder for yourself?
Exactly.
There's a couple of items that I wanted to cover that I think some people might forget to put on their baby registry as first-time parents. One of them is the backseat, mirror for the car.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, very important. It gives you peace of mind, because first-time parents worry 24 hours a day, all the time. The baby's being too quiet back there. I remember pulling over to the side of the road to check the baby because I didn't have a backseat mirror. And it's nerve-wracking. So being able to see your baby when you're driving is so, comforting. Not to mention a reminder to always, take your baby out of the back seat. Unfortunately, every year we hear horror stories about people who have forgotten their baby in the back seat in the summertime. It's a terrible thing. So the backseat mirror does give you a little extra protection for that. The shopping cart cover, I never had one for my kids, and they're fine, but it is kind of cool. First-time parents are usually very germophobic, as they should be. So the shopping cart cover, and the baby won't need it for a while, but it is nice to have, something they might not have thought of. There's a very cool diaper changing pad for your changing table called the Poo-Poos that like Velcros over the top of them and holds them still. So they can't wiggle away, fall off the changing table, or just wriggle around in their poo, which I don't know why babies do that, but
Have you ever heard? It's probably been around forever, but the PPTP.
Yes, that is very cool.
That's very cool and very important if you're going to a boy baby shower.
Yes, I have been peed on many times.
Yeah.
So yes, I definitely recommend that. Something about when the cool air hits the little boy,
oh man,
they pee you right in the face.
I've nannied for a boy that had to be changed, and like that was my first experience because I have 2 girls, and it was like a shock, like to my system. I was like, this is a thing that people have to, it was like it's the perfect timing, trying to dodge the bullets. So just put the TP on and like
don't worry about it, because it's going to happen. It is like the sensation of the air just makes them need to go. Yeah, it can't help it. They're not doing it on purpose. Yeah. And then the last product I had for you today is if you have, first time parents who are more anxious or more nervous about having full charge care of a newborn. I remember I was with my first, the nurse was like, okay, you can go home. And I was like, without you, you're not coming. I don't know what to do. I never even babysat when I was younger.
Wow.
I had never taken care.
Wow.
I had never changed a diaper till it was on my own baby. I had never taken care of a baby till it was my own child.
I'm trying to think if I had ever had an actual baby. I've had kids, little kids, but I never babysat an actual baby. I don't think anyone thought I was ever like really responsible enough for that. Like older.
But the hospital did. The hospital was like, here, take her home.
I didn't have a baby. I had a baby when I was 20 or 25. Like it wasn't cool. I wasn't still a child, but even then I feel like my first experience with a baby might have been my baby. And it's still I
mean, I was an adult, but like barely. I was not a super adulty adult. No, that's for sure.
But you were still like, wait, you're not coming with me? I think we all feel that way.
Yeah. I was so nervous that I was going to miss a signal from him, or I wasn't doing everything right. I was a nervous wreck for the first one. So they make this product called the Pocket Nanny, and it's basically like, it looks like a little kind of a bigger version of a Tamagotchi or something, but it's, it alerts you at regular intervals to, feed the baby, change the baby, just things
like
that
actual Tamagotchi.
Yeah, basically. But it's of the real life person instead of a little digital creature. But it's just something that you kind of carry around with you. You could easily set up something in your phone to do these alarms but it's just an extra. You can hand it to whoever's in charge of the baby at that particular time, if it's not always going to be you, which, I mean, I hope you have help. Or if you are giving the baby to the grandparents or someone to watch it, that's always very nerve-wracking when they're young. So this just reminds them, babies need to be changed every couple of hours, need to be fed every couple of hours, and this many ounces. It gives you all the information that you need and reminds you to do those things. Yeah. So that, even though I don't feel like it was necessary, maybe, I feel like when I had my oldest, that would have been, I don't even think, that was 94. There weren't even really, I don't even think I had a cell phone. I think I have a pager or something, but I couldn't have set cell phone alarms. There were no smartphones in 94. But I do think it would have given me peace of mind just to know that I was doing things at the right time and according to what they recommend. Because I think I checked my what to expect the first yearbook every 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had it on an app form, but I for sure checked it all the time. I was like, I don't know what I'm expecting, and this was the second time around. I had taken such a long break in between the two that I felt like it was my first time all over again, Yeah.
So, and I'm sure everything like technology wise changed.
Oh yeah. No, 1,000%. For sure. No, for me, that, my biggest takeaways from when it's not a necessity, but it sure was a help when it was just all the time, is those diaper holders, those diaper genies, like things that you put, because like, to be honest, you're not going to keep running to the dumpster wherever you're going to put that thing over and over again. If you're not doing reusable diapers, the diaper genie is a really big, it's not that expensive. And it is something that I used countless times all the time. That is something that's really good on the registry. And then for me, it's more of a higher ticket item. They range in all types of prices and fanciness, but anything where you can put the baby in where it moves or vibrates,
like the swings and the rockers and all that stuff.
Because you need to be able to put the baby down
Yes.
to get stuff done. And sometimes wearing the baby isn't going to happen. Like maybe you're a single mom and you legit need to shower.
Mhm.
And where are you going to put the baby? A laundry basket is a great option for plan B if you cannot.
Yes.
But anything that swings or moves, and it's also, especially for my first kid, it was a huge helper in getting them getting their bodies and their minds like in a sleeping state. Like if they were
Yes.
having trouble, and the crib wasn't doing it, sometimes I can put them in a swing, and that swinging motion. Like I said, there's all kinds of cool price points. There's ones that like look like you live in space. They're so cool.
Yeah. I remember when I was little, my cousin who was younger than me had a baby swing that you had to crank.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this was like the early 80s.
Like a
You'd
Jack in the Box.
Yeah, you'd
Like
put the baby
like
in the swing and you'd crank it up and it would swing the baby back and forth. And then you'd have to go back and crank it up. And
That's
so
helpful.
I'm very thankful that technology has come farther than that. And now we have all these automated things.
Yeah.
My kids slept in the swing so well. I would definitely recommend that. I bought something for my stepdaughter for her baby shower. Her child is, Isla is now almost 3, but it was called the Snuggle Lounger, and it was like a little baby bed. But when you put them in it conformed around them, and it gave them the sensation of being held.
What?
And I read about it before I bought it for her. I'd never seen it before. And months later, she told me, this Snuggle Lounger that you bought me is the only thing getting me through the day, because it's the only time I can put her down without her screaming.
Oh yeah. No, the swing,
Yeah.
I actually had to like learn how to get her to fall asleep without the swing, because I kind of depended on it a little too much. But I'm not kidding you, like at 2 a.m, when you're just like, you don't have it in you to do this, you know, next to the bed, or like you have to be in another room, so because somebody else is trying to sleep, just being able to like put them down with a lullaby calms them down. That rocking back and forth motion, or sometimes just the vibrating motion, like that is sometimes a big ticket item that, I kid you not, will save them as people.
Yeah, it really saves your sanity to be able, like you said, to take a shower, to get yourself ready for the day, to cook, to do something. Sometimes it's not safe to have the baby strapped to you if you
don't have a partner, or their partner's gone all day. You can't
exactly.
just,
I've been there
5 minutes, you know?
Yeah, I've been on my own with it, and I've also had a partner who worked 20-hour shifts. So I have been both of those situations. And I remember going out to the grocery store late at night, because it was the only time that I had someone to watch the kids where I could go to the grocery store. And I was standing in line at the checkout counter, and I was bouncing, and I did not have any children with me.
Yeah.
And the checkout lady was like, "Oh, you're a mama." And I was like,
yeah, like I knew it.
I just realized I had been standing there bouncing, because I did it all day long I was like this all day long. So in the grocery store, no baby, still going like this. People must have thought I was out of my mind.
Yeah. Or if this will forever stick with me. I remember you asked me a very, very important question when I was pregnant with Kenzie that will forever stick with me, because you were like, well, what are you going to do when you shower? And I'm like, well, she'll be in the crib. She's like, oh, you think, but you're in the shower. And then Emma gets curious about what the baby's up to. And then she's all of a sudden in the room with the baby. You're going to need to have that baby in the bathroom with you. So that you know the baby is safe.
Yeah. If you have other children or pets in your home, you cannot leave your baby unattended ever. Yeah. The first time
versions, you can bring with you. You have to have something that
I used the car seat carrier. I used that, and I put the baby in it and put them in the bathroom where I could see them from the shower, but they weren't obviously in the shower with me.
Yeah.
Because the first time I took a shower, when I came home from the hospital with Samantha, and I had all the kids alone at the house, I took a shower and I got out of the shower, and my 2 boys, who were 2.5 and 4, had filled her mouth with goldfish crackers. So she had the tail of a goldfish cracker sticking out of her mouth. And I immediately, the look on my face, they could tell that I was, really horrified and scared. And they were like, "Mommy, we just wanted to share with the new baby." And it was so sweet and also so incredibly dangerous at the same time. I had to reach my finger in and pop all these goldfish crackers out of her little tiny newborn mouth. No.
Yeah, it's a thing. If you're a second time parent and you all of a sudden also have a kid who's too young and you cannot trust, or you can't, if your second kid is not 21 and can't take care of your newborn,
I don't know if I would. I've met a lot of really untrustworthy 21-year-olds.
Like, I don't even know what age you could be like, all right, you're cool while I go take this, while I go, do this hair mask. Like, it's not going to happen. So you need to have something to put the baby in. And sometimes, like, the car seat is great. You already have that. It's a 2-for-1 situation. But sometimes, like, give them 2 seconds in the car seat and then they're mad at you because they're bored or they're angry or they're hungry. Something that moves gives you the ability to enjoy your shower because, oh my goodness, you deserve it. It's been 3 days. And like, you
look rough, girl. Go get in the shower.
Yeah. So that something like that to put the baby down that can keep you from having to constantly either wear or hold the baby or feel like that's your only job or only option in life is like a huge sanity saver that can sometimes be semi-pricey, but man, will you ever use it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And those can be handed down. I think
they can.
They're not unsafe to reuse for somebody if you.
No, and I also wanted to point that out. Like, other than the car seats that we already talked about, a lot of expensive items, barely used, very good condition, can be found, secondhand.
Oh yeah.
There are some really great children's consignment stores across the country that you should not overlook when you're shopping.
That's where I went to first. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you can check check the baby registry and then go and look for those items on Facebook Marketplace, at consignment stores, on OfferUp, things like that. And maybe you'll be able to gift them more than you were expecting to because you found a really great deal on it. And you probably know the parents, if these people are friends or family members of yours, if they would have any issue with that. I don't see why that they would, but everybody's different. But I mean, there are things that I got at my baby shower or bought because I thought I would use it and used it maybe once. So perfect condition and resold it. I sent all my kids' stuff to consignment stores when I was done with it or donated it because there's a lot that you end up with that is hardly used. So don't overlook those options if you're on a budget.
High-end price point situation for a great steal, just because somebody's like, I just need this out of my garage, like take it. Like, you're like, wait, really? And they don't even realize the price point that they're giving. And you can find some really nice stuff. So yeah. For sure. Strollers are a great secondhand thing. Like the rockers thing are great secondhand things. Like clothes, I would always go to those things first because it's like, why buy it new? Books, children's toys sometimes are really good to get secondhand. So yeah, consignment for kids and babies is a great option.
Yeah. And if you're super not thrilled about anything on the baby registry list or baby stuff in general, other options are always like meal services, not the ones where you have to cook them, the ones where it's already cooked. So I can think of like Freshly as one of them. Model Meals is another one where the food is healthy and delicious and they literally just have to microwave it or heat it up. Those are great options. It's very hard to take care of yourself when you're taking care of a newborn. Cleaning services or coupons for things like, I'll come over and watch the baby while you take a shower. I'll come and clean. If you're really in a difficult financial situation, or that's just something that appeals to you, a coupon book I would have loved as a new mom. And to have the person genuinely say, like, I mean it. I will come. Like, this isn't just a gesture.
Sometimes
I'm serious.
Moms or dads or whoever live across the country and they can't just help them that first really horrible week because I'm sorry, it's horrible when you have to go home with the kid and figure everything out for yourself and try and eat and sleep and work and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Or like you and I, who didn't really have mothers that were, around. Or
I had Dan's mom, my husband's mom. He lived with us for the first 2 weeks, straight up lived with us because, I mean, you can't do it all. If I didn't have her, and then I had people bringing by meals, and it's like, if I didn't have that, I don't know. So
that's another thing. If you're a good cook or a baker or something like that, and their allergies or dietary preferences, make a bunch of meals and that they can freeze. Just label the reheating instructions on them. Make some goodies that are freezable that they
You're not going to go grocery shopping. You're not going to even go to like Target drive up that first. You're gonna
If
be
you
so
can't,
tired and sleep deprived, and you're not gonna feel cute. You're gonna be wearing. I don't even want to talk about what you're gonna
no,
be like
you
recovering
have
from
throw
on
up
there.
on you somewhere. I know you
There's no
do.
going out.
Yeah, there is baby vomit on you at somewhere on your body.
Or
I
you're
know it is.
recovering from like pushing a human out of you, and
Or
you're
a
still wearing
C-section or
those
something.
giant diapers that they make you rock for a
Hmm.
while. Goodness, heaven bless. I miss all of
Yeah.
it. But you're
Or
not going
if
to go to Target. So
no. And
just
if they had a C-section, they're down and out for weeks.
yep.
So please, or if you're not a cook and you just want to do something like that, you can make a basket of things from like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, that
Yeah.
or any grocery store. It doesn't have to be that are pre-prepared kind of.
Super unique gift idea, I feel.
Yeah.
It's super cool because it is very essential for that time, but it might not just be like directly related to baby, but man,
Hmm.
it's needed,
Or
especially if you really know that person's situation.
yeah, or gift certificates to places like Grubhub,
Mhm.
or Chow, or any of the ones that deliver food, Postmates. When I had my oldest, my first child at the hospital in Newport Beach, they sent me home with like a basket of pre-prepared like Italian goodies. I don't even know, but that's all I ate for the first few days was what they had sent me home with.
Yeah.
And then, the hospital sends you home with depending on the hospital you deliver at, with a care package of like essentials that you need to get started. And I use those items
Oh yeah.
so until the end of their natural
I
lifespan.
felt like I attended the Grammys or something. I was like, wait, swag?
Swag,
I get
yes.
swag for having a baby? I was like, ooh, like, Nutri-Grain bar, like, oh,
Yeah.
like, but they do send you home with like a bunch of different, depending on what your situation is, they'll still send you home with like formula samples, and they'll send you home with
Yes.
diapers, and they'll send you home with the things you need to take care of you.
Swaddle blankets
Bottle
and little
blankets. Like, you don't
hats.
need to stress about that. So like that's another real quick tips is like the longest podcast we've ever done.
I know.
But if you are planning a baby shower, the person who is, add in the idea of like bring a thing of diapers with your present, because like
Yes.
if you're having 18 people come, like then that's like 18 things of diapers, and try your best to not get the preemie or I don't know, it's hard with diaper sizing, but it really does help, because then you go home with a big stack and you'll blow through that first stack so fast you don't even know.
Yes.
So like if you're going to a baby shower and it's not on the thing, just maybe bring a pack of diapers anyway.
Yeah.
Size newborn or ones are always a good solid choice.
No one's going to be offended by an extra pack of diapers. It will be much
No.
appreciated.
No, it really is. I remember surviving that first week or two off of, I thought I had an obscene amount of diapers, and then they went so fast, and I was so bummed when I had to buy my first set of diapers. I was like, wait, diapers are how much? Like I didn't know,
Yeah.
because I was set for a while. And then when I
Yeah.
wasn't, it was financially a little tougher, because they, like I said, go through 5-day diapers a day if you're not
At
doing the
least.
reusable ones. So bring a sack of diapers, make it a theme on the invitation if you're that close to the person planning it, because like that's a huge lifesaver for first time parents too, because they don't know how much diapers are going to be, and then they think they're going to go a certain route with like a certain brand, and then they're like, oh no. I went from like Honest brand and like Pampers to like Target brand real fast. After like the third week, I was like, I can't afford this. I can afford this, because you're pooping
And
it no matter what.
you learn like which diapers fit your baby's body best, and
Yes.
which diapers, even though they're more expensive, they leak at night. So there's a lot of, they're going to figure out their own favorite brand, but getting them few the first, couple weeks is so helpful. And now that we all live scattered throughout the country, our families are no longer all living, within a few blocks of each other, like the 1950s, right? And most of us aren't part of the kind of communities that we had back then, where if you had a baby, everyone in your neighborhood and maybe your church community or your philanthropic community knew that, and would come and bring you meals for every day for weeks, and would, leave things for you. And unfortunately, it's not the society that we live in anymore to some extent, because we're all private. We, live separate from each other. We're not as much of a neighborhood community. So if you do have a friend or loved one who is having their first baby or a baby at all, consider the options we gave you and all the other extras that we mentioned, because they would be so appreciated. I know that's a very difficult time of any family's life, as they make that huge adjustment from being a couple or just a mom or, whatever they are, to being a family with a baby. It's probably the biggest adjustment you ever make in your life, in my opinion.
You go from it being all about you essentially to like not about you on any sort of kind of like small level.
No.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it. It's so wonderful.
Yeah, no, having kids was the best thing that ever happened to me. I truly believe it was my purpose in this life. But at the same time, I was a very underpaid servant to these demanding little tiny, soul-sucking monsters.
Yep.
But they brought me the more joy than anything else in my life. So I can't explain that dichotomy, but it is very, very true.
It's all wonderful. And it's so weird how like your body will forget that weird first few months to convince you enough that it's like, oh, let's do this.
You want to do it again.
Yeah. But it is a crazy time for anyone. And the more, like we said, you can stick to the list, and the more I'm going to say, the more you stick to our suggestions, because we're moms have done this, like you're just going to help them, because it's just going to be crazy no matter how many gadgets you have or what you do. Like nothing's going to fully prepare you for what's ahead, but like these suggestions will help a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations to everyone who is expecting a little one in their friend group or their family. It's a wonderful time, and now that we're coming out of this pandemic, it's a little less scary than it was last year to bring a human into the world.
Baby showers again.
I know, it's great. Hopefully, everyone is celebrating safely in person. And I look forward to going back to baby shower. I love baby showers. It's one of my favorite.
And if you're gonna want to still buy like the cute outfit, it's fine. Just make sure you pair it with something that's maybe on their registry, because I do love buying baby shoes are so cute.
They're so freaking cute.
They're ridiculous.
They don't even need shoes. They don't walk anywhere. They don't go anywhere.
No, they don't need the Air Force Ones, but they're so small that
they're so cute. Yeah.
But maybe also buy like the nose freedom.
Yeah. Balance. All right. Well, thank you guys again for joining us. As always, please visit our website, she'safullonmonet.com. We will be covering this topic in depth on the website. We will have links to everything that we talked about today in the show notes. And please join our discussion group on Facebook if you'd like to continue the discussion. And we look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, Megan.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to bookmark our site, she'safullonmonet.com, and subscribe to our newsletter. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're enjoying this podcast, it helps us a lot if you can follow, rate, and review. See y'all next week.